For 10 long years, warriors battled without a clear victor in a legendary conflict. The Siege of Troy, a historic tale from ancient Greece, highlights the cunning strategy of the Greeks when they built the Trojan horse, a massive wooden structure used to deceive their enemies. In 1184 BC, after years of failed assaults, the Greeks left the horse outside the city gates as a supposed offering, hiding soldiers inside. At night, Trojans brought the horse into the city, believing they had won. When the gates were closed, the hidden soldiers emerged, opening the way for their comrades to invade, leading to Troy's fall and an end to the war. This initial act of deception set the stage for one of history's most infamous sacks of a city. The psychological toll on the warriors and the civilians caught in the conflict was undoubtedly heavy. The epic poems, most notably Homer's Iliad, recount its dramatic tales. The legendary Trojan War, according to ancient accounts, began primarily because of Helen. She was the wife of Menelaus, the king of Sparta, a powerful city-state in Greece. Helen's beauty was renowned throughout the ancient world. She was often described as the most beautiful woman alive. Paris, a handsome prince of Troy, son of King Priam, paid a diplomatic visit to Sparta. During his stay, he either abducted Helen against her will, or, as some versions of the myth suggest, she eloped with him willingly, captivated by his charm. This act, regardless of Helen's consent, deeply angered Menelaus and the broader Greek world. They viewed it as a severe insult to Menelaus's honor and a flagrant breach of the sacred laws of hospitality, xenia, which were highly valued in ancient Greek society. Initial diplomatic efforts to secure Helen's peaceful return to Sparta failed completely. The Trojans, under Priam's rule, refused to send her back. Menelaus invoked the Oath of Tyndareus, calling upon all former suitors to honor their pledge and help him recover his wife. Paris, involved in a divine dispute, awarded a golden apple to Aphrodite, who promised him Helen. This divine promise led directly to the vast human conflict. The Achaean fleet, described in epic poetry as consisting of over 1,000 ships from various Greek states, began to gather at the port of Aulis in Boeotia. Achilles was universally acknowledged as the greatest and most formidable warrior on the Greek side. He was the son of King Peleus of Phthia and the sea nymph Thetis. His divine mother had attempted to make him immortal by dipping him in the river Styx. However, she held him by his heel, leaving that one spot vulnerable, which ultimately led to the term Achilles' heel. Hector stood as the foremost champion and military leader of Troy. He was the eldest and most beloved son of King Priam and Queen Hecuba. Unlike many heroes who fought for personal glory, Hector was portrayed as a brave and noble leader. He fought primarily to protect his city, his cherished wife Andromache, and his young son Astyanax. His duels, particularly his final confrontation with Achilles, became legendary moments in the epic narrative of the siege. The walls of Troy were legendary, renowned throughout the ancient world for their imposing strength and perceived invincibility. Ancient myths and stories even claimed that these magnificent fortifications were not built by mortal hands alone. Poseidon, the powerful god of the sea and earthquakes, and Apollo, the god of archery, music, and prophecy, supposedly constructed them for an early Trojan king, Laomedon. These divine origins, whether believed literally or metaphorically, underscored the walls' impressive nature. They were described as being exceptionally high and incredibly thick, making them very difficult to scale or breach. The defensive system featured well-designed towers placed at strategic intervals and strong, well-guarded gates, the most famous of which was the Scaean Gate. For nearly a full decade, these formidable fortifications had successfully defied all Greek attempts to overcome them. The walls stood as a potent symbol of Troy's power, wealth, and enduring resilience. Life for the Achaean soldiers stationed in their sprawling camp outside Troy was exceptionally harsh and fraught with peril. Their camp was essentially a temporary, makeshift city. It consisted of thousands of huts and tents, stretching along the beach near their beached warships. Soldiers faced constant daily dangers, not only from organized Trojan attacks, but also from smaller raids and skirmishes launched from the city. They were compelled to forage for food, water, and other essential supplies continuously. This often led to dangerous expeditions into the surrounding countryside and inevitable clashes with local populations allied with Troy. Disease, a common scourge in crowded military encampments with poor sanitation, sometimes spread rapidly through the Greek ranks, further depleting their strength. Beyond the physical dangers, the psychological burdens of boredom, the endless waiting, and the monotony of siege warfare also took a heavy toll. After nearly 10 exhausting years of relentless warfare, it had become painfully clear to the Greek leadership that Troy would likely not fall by conventional military force alone. The city's mighty walls and the Trojans' determined defense had proven too formidable. The Greeks desperately needed a new plan, a strategy that relied on cleverness and cunning, rather than on sheer strength. The hero Odysseus, the wise king of Ithaca, was particularly famous for his sharp, cunning mind and his ability to devise ingenious solutions to complex problems. He was a master of strategy, deception, and persuasive speech. Most ancient sources and subsequent traditions credit Odysseus with conceiving the audacious and brilliant plan of the Trojan horse. He recognized that trickery, not force, was perhaps the only remaining way to get Greek soldiers inside Troy's impregnable walls. This innovative idea marked a crucial and decisive turning point in the long and stalemated war. The actual construction of the Trojan horse was a monumental undertaking, requiring significant skill and resources. The Greeks used strong fir wood to build the colossal structure. This timber was reportedly cut from the sacred groves on Mount Ida, a prominent mountain located near the city of Troy. The master craftsman Epius, son of Panopeus, was placed in charge of designing and building the horse. Ancient accounts often state that he received divine assistance in this complex task, specifically from the goddess Athena, who favored the Greeks and was known for her wisdom and skill in crafts. The horse was built to be hollow, with a large internal cavity designed to comfortably accommodate several dozen armed warriors. Its sheer imposing size was intentionally crafted to awe the Trojans and lend credibility to its status as a significant religious offering. Building such a massive wooden structure relatively quickly, and, importantly, in secret from Trojan observation, was a considerable challenge for the Greek forces. When the Trojans cautiously ventured out from their city and discovered the deserted Greek camp and the astonishing wooden horse, a great and urgent debate immediately began among them. What should they do with this strange, unsolicited, and potentially dangerous Greek offering? Some Trojans were understandably and deeply suspicious of anything left behind by their long-standing enemies. Cassandra, one of King Priam's daughters, was a prophetess. She had been blessed with the gift of true prophecy by the god Apollo, but also cursed by him so that her dire warnings were never believed by anyone. She passionately warned her fellow citizens that the horse was a trick and would bring about the utter destruction of Troy if brought inside. Laocoon, a respected priest of Poseidon, or sometimes Apollo, also vehemently urged caution. He famously declared, "Timeo Danaos et Donia Ferentes, I fear the Greeks, even when they bring gifts." He strongly suspected a deadly trap lay hidden within the wooden structure. That fateful night, the city of Troy, exhausted but elated, celebrated its perceived victory and the end of a decade of suffering. The Trojan people were overcome with joy and profound relief. Many indulged heavily in wine and feasting, eventually falling into a deep, unsuspecting sleep. Under the protective cloak of darkness, Sinon, the Greek spy, crept silently towards the now idolized Trojan horse. He carefully opened the hidden hatch or door in its side, releasing the elite Greek soldiers who had been anxiously waiting inside. This hand-picked group of warriors, led by the cunning Odysseus, and including heroes like Menelaus, quickly and quietly overpowered the few nearby Trojan sentries, who were likely drowsy from the celebrations. They then moved with stealth and purpose towards the main city gates. They managed to unbar and open these gates, possibly the prominent Scaean gate from within,